Welcome back to the channel. My name is June. I am in Jamaica. It's always good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. I'm reading this book. The author is Paul Wallace, and the title of the book is Escaping from Eden. See? Escaping from Eden. I stumbled across a couple of videos from Paul Wallace and the fifth kind, and I'm really interested in what he has to say and the discoveries that he has made. Basically, I grew up in a Christian home. My culture is Christianity, and Jesus Christ is Lord, and the different names for God. Now, watching the videos and actually reading the book, then I do not have a change of mind as to whether God exists, but I'm viewing all this in a different light, and to know that the history of our worship is very, very important. In the videos, I was introduced to terms such as Anunnaki, Enlil, Enki, Sky People, Powerful Ones. Oh yeah, and many different names that I can't even call. They are in some other language. And even the name for Noah, about three different names were given based on what culture or what country the story was being told from. The in the beginning story and the flood that had destroyed civilization in time past. And yes, I am really taken aback. I have now to be doing a lot of reading. I am even going to invest in a different library of Bibles, because my library, which contains maybe two copies of the Bible, and basically both of them are the King James Version. Now I am encouraged to look further and look at other storytelling, other historical finding, other representation of the in the beginning story. I in no way, shape, nor form change my knowing. No, no, no. It's not a belief in a great power. I have long passed the belief. I am at the knowing that there exists a power, a source greater than myself. And whether the name is A, B, or C at this point in my life, it's irrelevant. Maybe further on, and it takes on relevance as I study more, as I study the scripture more, as I try to understand more and putting things into historical perspective to understand that the passages that I am reading in my King James Version, I mean, it's layered, or they are layered, and they are much deeper meaning. For most of us, I'm sure, yes, I am sure, that we read our Bibles as though we're reading a storybook, a novel, and thinking that the things are happening, in close time periods. And yet many of the stories that are told, from one verse of a passage of scripture, from one verse to the next, there could be many a years past. Yes, something could start now and end in 5 years down the road, yet it is just put there in another verse of the same scriptural passage. And we're reading it as though, hey, look, everything is happening right now. And it is not so. So I am making time to read a lot of script. I am doing a lot of research for my educational purpose. Not to say, to debate whether there is a God, there isn't a God. The name is Yahweh, the name is YW or something else, the name is Yeshua. For me, at this point in my journey through this life, the names are irrelevant. What interests me at this point in time is the history of my being here. And to know that for me, if I at least know a little of my history of, I am here, humankind is here, then it gives me a greater feeling within myself, that great anxiety to be in reverence at all times to a greater power. But when I read from Paul Wallace, and he said, well, the Genesis story really wasn't about God as we know him, but rather about something else. And when he breaks down, based on his research, a lot of the passages that we have read, then I realized that, hey, look, I am so, 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 so dumb. I am illiterate. And so I have to educate myself. He started out by explaining that the story of Genesis is not what it is just by looking or just by reading. No, it's not what it is or the way that we have learnt it and the way our culture has presented it to us. He spoke of the first four words of our Bible, Genesis 1, in the beginning, God. And he went way back into the root meaning of the word God, and he tried to explain that it's a much deeper story than what we are taking it for, because God then, the word God, has nothing to do with the supreme ruler, Abba Father. It has nothing to do with him, but rather it had to do with sky council and sky people and maybe extraterrestrial persons and other types of beings that were created, more likely, before us, humankind, and that it was those beings who really created us. And if I am to take that as being the truth, then I want to know, who have I been worshiping and praying to and feel so comfortable with over time? Did it matter, or does it matter that when I say, oh God, so and so, does it matter that the word God had a specific meaning, and that really of a fact I was calling on a different entity than what I had intended? He made me to understand that, listen, look at all the teachings of Jesus Christ and tell me if at any time Jesus had referred to his Father as God. At all times, Jesus said, Father, my Father, and was very specific in even teaching us the Lord's Prayer. How do we get to the throne of God? How do we get the attention of who we call God? He taught us to pray, Our Father, who art in heaven. So he was quite specific of whom he referenced. I am reading this book, and I have quite a bit. I have this one, Paulo Coelho, reading at the same time. It's for the Supreme Gift. And I have another one, reading the book of Enoch. Yes, I do read a lot. And it has nothing to do with whether I am searching for proof that there is a God. No, 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 no. I know that there exists a power greater than I am. And I want to tap into that. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. The power and the glory. I want to be tapping into that. Even at this late stage in my life, it's not late. Abraham maybe was even at a later stage in his life when he accepted Abba Father as his God. I'm in Jamaica. My name is June. So that was just a little of what I am doing and my search for the beginning of me, and to ensure that I am getting the best out of this life on this planet Earth. Bye-bye.